Yo! You already know what time it is, Swag Gang. It's your boy Keon Lar, aka KL Swag. Back here with a video, man. Look, man, we about to react to the NBA players that went to jail, bro. Make sure you comment, you like, and you subscribe, and let's just get into the reaction, you guys, because this is crazy, bro. This is gonna be crazy, bro. I know it is, bro. I know some of these basketball players doing some crazy damn shit. But anyways, man, make sure you comment, subscribe, and let's just get into the reaction. Oh, yeah.
One player committed so many crimes, he had to play NBA games wearing an ankle monitor. While another did something so horrible, it ended his career forever. These are the NBA players that went to jail. And J.R. Smith didn't just go to jail. He made a mistake that cost him his best friend's life. During the early 2000s, JR was making a name for himself in basketball, but behind the scenes, he was battling his demons. JR had an addiction to speeding. Anytime he got behind the wheel of a car, nothing brought him more joy than burning some rubber. I mean, in 2005 alone, he got 4 speeding tickets and 27 points docked on his driver's license.
Damn!
Not only that, the dude had his license suspended 5 separate times. I didn't even know that was possible.
Oh my God.
JR found a way. And because he's a $1 million athlete, he had the best lawyers money could buy, so he always got off easy. But eventually, his addiction caught up with him, causing one of the worst tragedies the NBA has ever seen. And no amount of money was getting him out of this one. It was the summer of 2007. JR picked up his friends Carl and Andre to head to a cookout.
And I forgot to tell you guys, this guy named his YouTube channel is Rebound. So yes, we are back here again with Rebound. Let's just get into the reaction. I'm doing too much talking.
The 3 boys were cruising, vibing to music, but for JR, this wasn't enough. There's only one thing that brings him joy. So before he knew it, he was going 70 and a 35, running stop sign after stop sign.
What?
That night, JR was knocking on death's door, and all of a sudden, JR and his best friend Andre were laid out on the asphalt. It turns out, JR had just driven into the middle of a busy intersection, causing another car to collide with him. And by some miracle, JR only sprained his left shoulder.
Ooh.
But Andre, he wasn't as lucky. He suffered critical head injuries and had to be rushed to the hospital. But paramedics realized there wasn't much they could do. By the time Andre arrived at the hospital, his brain had 0 activity.
Oh.
It wasn't long before he passed away.
Damn.
Just think about that. JR's stupid decision to speed cost him his best friend's life. I think we all speed a little bit here and there, right? But after hearing this, we just got to do better. Because this could have been any one of us. But the story doesn't end there. JR had charges to face. Reckless driving, failure to obey a stop sign, speeding, and failure to wear a seatbelt. In a situation like this, the average person could serve 15 years to life in prison. If JR was convicted with these crimes, his basketball career would have been over. But luckily for JR, Andre's mother didn't want his life ruined over this. She knew what it was like to lose a son and didn't want to do that to another mother. So with that, JR only faced 90 days in jail, 500 hours of community service, and a license suspension for 2 years. JR owes his freedom to Andre's mom, and as the trial progressed, it was hard for everyone in that courtroom. And it led to one of the most emotional moments in JR's life.
That is crazy.
Something like this just happens and I just move on or just forget about it. It's impossible. Talk to my mother about it, my father. I mean, I can't talk to Dre. It's unbearable to deal with. People who've been in my situation, I can't even talk to them about it because they've gone through their own thing. And I am deeply sorry. I never intended this to happen. Dre is like my brother, just like Jamal, Kenny, and Demetrius. He's always there. I mean, it always has been. It just tears me up that it has to I mean, it went down like that. I take full responsibility for everything that happened, but indeed, it was an accident. I mean, I know it's not going to bring him back. I apologize to everybody. I apologize to Mrs. Bell because I couldn't imagine what I would do if that was my daughter. I've thought about it. I have dreamt about it. I've dreamt about the shoe being on the other foot if it was me. Right after the accident, me and my mother had this conversation, and I told her I wish the shoe was on the other foot.
Now, JR is not the only player that's had run-ins with the law. Some players break the law so much, they have to play NBA games while they're still in jail. Yeah, that's not a joke. I saw a video of Contavious Caldwell Pope playing an NBA game while wearing an ankle monitor. And
oh my God!
It made me wonder, how is this even possible? Well, back in 2017, when Contavious played for the Pistons, one night, Detroit had lost a close game to Miami, 96-97. So, to lift his spirits, Contavious went out with the boys, turned up. Dude partied all the way till 3 a.m. But that's when he made the worst decision of his entire life. After hours of drinking and partying, Contavious hopped in his car, put the keys in the ignition, and sped off, heavily under the influence.
Damn.
That's when police clocked a Jeep Wrangler going 45 and a 25. So the cops pulled it over, and inside, they found a glossy-eyed Contavious who completely smelled like alcohol. The cops started questioning him, and since Contavious was slurring his words and a breathalyzer test showed a blood alcohol level of 0.08, they decided to arrest him. And the worst part is, Contavious had other people in the car. But lucky for him, he was only given a ticket for operating while intoxicated and was released from jail. But things only get worse from here. Contavious was put on a 12-month probation, and to stay out of jail, all he had to do was submit some alcohol and drug tests. Simple enough, right? Well, because he's a multi-million-dollar NBA player, he thought, yeah, I'm above the law. So he stopped submitting tests, and eventually, the law came knocking. He was sentenced to a 25-day jail sentence in Orange County, California, for violating his probation. And this happened while playing for the Lakers. But because Contavious is an NBA player, they let him out on a work release program, where he basically was allowed to play in the NBA on one condition. He had to wear an ankle monitor, which you could literally see him wearing during games. And then after each game, he had to go back to jail. With such an amazing opportunity like playing in the NBA, it comes with responsibility.
Bro, that's crazy.
Time and time again, players...
Bro, that is crazy as hell. He had to go right back to jail after you played your NBA game? Oh my God.
Players abuse it. And there's no better example of this than what Jason Richardson did to his kid. Back in 2009, Jason was seen driving his Dodge Hellcat around Phoenix. And at first, undercover police spotted him going 67 and a 40, which was already dangerous. But then they decided to follow him after this, and things got intense. Jason sped up to 90 miles per hour in a 35. That's 55 miles per hour over the speed limit. So at this point, they had to pull him over. When they walked up to his window, Jason admitted he was speeding. But then, police saw his 3-year-old son in the back without a car seat. So they arrested Jason on the spot. He got charged with reckless driving, excessive speeding, and failure to use a child seat. And when the NBA found out, he was suspended without pay, costing him $111,000.
God damn.
That's how much 2 Hellcats cost. This man's a dumbass. Give me the Hellcat, all right? I'll get a child seat. Now, Jason was eventually released from jail after a few hours. And afterwards, he said, I just want to apologize to my teammates, my family, especially my fiance. It's a tough time for me. I've been questioned as a basketball player, questioned as a person, but my fatherhood in question is tough because I try to be the best father I can be and try to keep my kids out of harm's way. Doesn't really seem like it, Jason. We were going 90 miles per hour, and your kid wasn't even in a car seat. Irresponsible. But that's not the only thing Jason had to say. He went on to say that, if you don't drop a like and subscribe to the channel, he's gonna take you for a drive. Yeah, that's right, with no seatbelt. I know you can't risk that, so what are you doing? But anyways, at least this didn't ruin Jason's career. Sometimes, players commit crimes they never recover from. Like this next player. When police found out what Sebastian TELFAIR did, it ended his career. And it's really such a tragedy because in high school, Sebastian was unbelievable. He was averaging 33 points, 9 assists per game, and was practically unstoppable.
Damn,
so the headlines were literally calling him the next LeBron. And after Sebastian was drafted to the Blazers, you would think everything would be up from here. But his life ended up going downhill from here. He became a shell of his former self. And once he joined the NBA, he barely averaged 7 points a game.
Damn.
And then to make matters worse, in 2006, Sebastian's secret double life was exposed. The Blazers had just landed their private jet in Boston on their way to a game. This is when authorities saw something unusual in Sebastian's suitcase, a loaded weapon. Even for an NBA player, this wasn't gonna fly in the airport, literally. Sebastian told police that he grabbed the wrong bag when he left, and that it was actually his girl's luggage. Hold on. What the hell his girl need guns for? Anyways, after some investigating, it turned out he was telling the truth. So luckily, he escaped without any charges.
Damn, he got
For now. So, you'd think getting off easy, he'd make sure something like this never happens again, right? Well, just a year later, him and his friend found themselves in another controversy. Sebastian was seen driving his Range Rover at 77 miles per hour in a 45. And he was driving with a suspended license. But it gets even worse. When police searched the car, they found a loaded handgun under the seat that wasn't registered to either him or his girlfriend. So Sebastian couldn't blame it on his girl this time. And to no surprise, both Sebastian and his friend denied knowledge of it. An investigation took place, and the police didn't care whose it was. It was still in his car. So Sebastian pleaded guilty to criminal possession of a weapon, got 3 years probation, and a 3-game suspension from the NBA.
Damn.
At this point, this is strike number 2. If he messes up again, it could mean serious jail time. And with that, Sebastian was a good boy for about a decade. But in 2017, the craziest arrest of them all happened. Sebastian and his friend were suspiciously driving a Ford F-150 around Brooklyn. No headlights on, illegally parking. 2 undercover officers saw this and knew they were up to no good. So they pulled up, saw a lit joint in the dashboard, and decided to search the vehicle. But what they found in the trunk was enough to land anyone in jail for 10 plus years. It was like Sebastian was ready for war or something. And because of his criminal past, he wasn't gonna get let off the hook this time. He was facing 15 years in prison, and it was looking like there was no hope. A 2-week trial took place, and eventually, Sebastian was found guilty and sentenced to 3.5 years in jail. But after a few appeals, Sebastian got off on a $500,000 bail and was sentenced to probation, where he was forced to wear an ankle monitor for the rest of his sentence. And just like that, another rich NBA player was let off easy. Now, a 3-year prison sentence, that's crazy. But starting a worldwide controversy, that's a crime we gotta talk about. LIANGELO Ball's arrest was such a big deal that even Donald Trump had to get involved. It started back in 2017, while LIANGELO was in college at UCLA. There was a special game between them and Georgia Tech. The game was set to take place in China. Obviously, this is a new place for LIANGELO and his teammates. So when they arrived, they decided to explore the area. But that's when they made a mistake that could have left them in jail for life. See, there was a Louis Vuitton store right next to their hotel.
I think I heard about this.
Obviously, they have security and cameras everywhere. But for some reason, LIANGELO and his teammates decided to hit a lick anyways. On camera, they were spotted stealing from the store, with LIANGELO grabbing a pair of Louis sunglasses. This dude just risked his entire career before it even began for a couple $100 pair of glasses. And the crazy thing was, LIANGELO and the boys thought they'd get away with it. Until the next day, when police showed up to their hotel and arrested them. Now, if you don't know, in China, they do not take shoplifting lightly, especially if you're a foreigner. This story became such a huge deal that Donald Trump caught wind of it, and he saw an opportunity to improve his image. So he contacted President Xi Jinping to straighten things out. And after a few days, the 3 teammates were released. Then, LIANGELO showed up to the Today Show and broke down his ugly China experience.
We all went out one night, went to a Louis Vuitton store. People started taking stuff, and then, me just not thinking and being with them, I took something too. And we left thinking we'll just get away. You know how kids think. I didn't realize till I got back to my hotel, I'm like, that was stupid, but by then it was too late. And then sure enough, the next morning, the police came and got us.
You spent the night in jail?
We're in jail for a day and a half or something like that.
What was that like?
Oh, it was horrible. They take your clothes, you wear like whatever they have for you, a little jumpsuit or whatever, take your shoestrings, and then you just sit in the cement cell for however long. It's just you and then all the officers, and they don't speak English.
I mean, I just hope LIANGELO learned his lesson, man. The only good thing I can say is, at least that reporter didn't ask him some dumbass question. I can't tell you how many times I've seen reporters get humiliated by NBA players. There's been some pretty hilarious moments recently, and I got the video to catch you up. So click right here. These are the times NBA players humiliated reporters.
If you guys want to see that video, all I got to do is let me know down in the comments because I will do that video as well. I love you guys. Stay swagged up, and I will see you guys in the next video because this was crazy as hell, man. Love you guys. Stay swagged up.